What's up, everybody? It's Bear.
Hey,
Introduce yourself.
I'm Mark. How's it going?
Of the Bear Nation.
Of the Bear Nation, yep.
And we are at Midwestern Preparedness Project, spring 2025, that I'm affectionately calling MWAP because, MWPP, everything needs an acronym. And so you asked me a question that I've been asked a bunch of times that I've never actually put a video out on. And so ask your question, and then I will answer it for the internet for once and for all.
So I've been watching a lot of Suspicious Observers
There you go.
from Ben, and I was kind of curious about his whole tilt of the Earth theory and like the Ozarks getting flooded, and how that kind of fits in with where we all want to congregate and live. Apparently,
Yeah, so you were saying that, like, a lot of people that are building in the Ozarks,
yep,
right?
a lot of people, and they continue to promote building down there. And actually, that's where we're looking at building too, as soon as Yah blesses us with some land.
So what happens if the whole world gets mikvah'd again?
Yeah.
Okay. So I like Ben. Space Weather News, Suspicious Observers. Ben's been on the show, on the Bear Show. And I've been following Ben's work since before I've been on YouTube because my mother-in-law loves Ben as well. My wife, every night before bed, listens to whatever Space Weather News has got out today. And he makes some really compelling arguments that are supported by a lot of scientific data. And I love the way he analyzes the white papers that are coming out, reports that are coming out, the whole nine. And you're correct. Ben's postulation is that the Earth is going to turn over 90 degrees and that a giant wall of water is going to come racing across North America, and that only areas, and I'm in a nutshell. And Ben, I would love to have you back on again. I know you got some stuff going on right now with Observer Ranch and the whole nine. Feel free to reach out. Let's continue the conversation. But a giant wave of water is going to race across the United States of America and isn't really going to stop until it hits the Rocky Mountains. And only areas at high elevation are going to be spared in this flooding event that happens. Now, how do we square that with Genesis and the sign of the covenant of the rainbow, that never again will the Father destroy all the earth with a flood? Well, we could get real particular and go, yeah, all the earth. He's not destroying all the earth. He's going to leave the high places and it's going to be fine. Okay. We could go with that route. But what about the Ozarks? Are the Ozarks going to be flooded? Maybe. If Ben's correct, maybe. Here's the thing. The Ozarks are not at high elevation, especially compared to the Rockies. I mean, even compared to Appalachia. To say that we have mountains in the Ozarks is a real stretch of the word mountain, although they're beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Ozarks, Ouachitas, they're beautiful mountains, but they're little itty bitty mountains compared to the Rockies, and even compared to the Appalachian Mountains. So could we get flooded? Sure. How does that square with the fact that the Father is calling his people to out of Appalachia and everywhere else into the Ozarks to build? Well, everybody I know and do life with is from somewhere else, which means that everybody I know and do life with has at least one time listened to the conviction of the Spirit to pack up all their stuff, get rid of most of the things that they own, get a small truck or a U-Haul or something, and come out of here, my people, and relocate from where they were to where they are now. Which means we've all done it at least once. We've all gone through that field training exercise at least once. And so if the Father tells me, hey, you need to go to Colorado, you need to go to Utah, you need to go to Wyoming. Okay, that's super interesting. In the mouths of two or three, let a thing be established. Because I'm going to ask Dudley, hey, has the Father told you that we got to go to the Rockies? And he's either going to be like, of course, it's a must. We got to go. And I'm like, huh, interesting. And I'm going to go ask one of my other brothers and see what they say, right? So that we have a multitude of witnesses here. Maybe the Father doesn't say, hey, you got it. He doesn't tell Dudley. Okay, well, if he hasn't told Dudley, he's only told me. I don't have a multitude of witnesses here. But all that to say, just because we move to the Ozarks or anywhere else doesn't mean that's the final destination. Okay? The Father's people move. And so then that begs the question, Why would I move to the Ozarks and build a homestead and do all this animal husbandry and all this regenerative agriculture and build new or refurb all these existing buildings and improve the land and all? Because that's the job of man. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do that wherever we are, whether that's in Delaware or the Ozarks or Saskatchewan. That's what we're supposed to do. Hi, Barb. So that's what we're supposed to do. And so if you're in the Ozarks, you do it in the Ozarks. If you're in Middle Tennessee, you do it in Middle Tennessee. If you're in Nevada, you do it in Nevada. That's just what we do. And the reps and sets that we get here, doing it here, we can take that knowledge and experience and expertise and apply it to wherever it is the Father tells us to go to next. And so I don't know if Ben's right or not. I believe that Ben believes he is right, and I believe that Ben is trying to inform people for all the right reasons. I think that he's genuinely convicted and convinced that this is going to be the case. Cool. Tracking. How do I square that with the world is not going to be destroyed by a flood again? Well, I'm going to put the Word of God above Ben Davidson because I'm me. I'm a biblical literalist. But it's interesting. Not all the world shall be destroyed with a flood again. Okay. Which portion of the world is not destroyed? And if the rest of us, are we wiped out in the flood if there's another flood? Maybe. But that's where the Spirit comes in. The Spirit's going to say, pack your stuff and go. You'll be like, I don't want to. My sheep, my gardens, my barn. I know. Pack your stuff and go. And so for me, it's more about being ready and willing to pick up in a moment and go when led in the Spirit than it is about who is right here. Is Moses right or is Ben right? And they could both be right in ways that we don't understand yet because it hasn't happened yet. And so that's maybe that's not the succinct answer that you're looking for, but that's where I'm at with it. What do you think about that?
Well, we're in the process of looking for land right now, and everyone I know is like, Ozarks. Even though like most people are like, don't come down here, but like,
yeah, we're full.
We're
Stay
full.
home.
Yeah.
We're full.
And we came out of Virginia after my wife's military service, and we're kind of doing the camper life right now, saving,
Yep.
Every little penny we can to get land. So I'm just like, if I get land down in the Ozarks and we get washed out, like, oh man. But at the same time, I want to be around people that are like me. So
100%. And so what I would tell you is what I just said. First of all, if we believe the Bible, there's this whole thing called the second Exodus. We're going again. It's just a matter of when. Okay? That's going to happen. So everything in this physical plane is temporary anyway. And it's not my homestead, it's y'all's homestead. Cool. He owns the whole earth. So if he says, hey, I'm moving you from here to here, it's like when you work for a big company and they're like, we're taking you out of the Cleveland office and we're moving you to the Milwaukee office. But all my friends are in Cleveland. I know, but I got good stuff for you in Milwaukee. Trust me, kid. You're lateraling over to Milwaukee, right? And I might not like it, but boss said, you're going to Milwaukee, so I'm going to Milwaukee. And so we all move. There's never a final chapter, man. Just because I've come to the Ozarks and I've put down roots for the last 7 years here, and we've built all these things. Man, there's not a thing I have that's not on loan from the Father anyway. And so if a year from now or tomorrow, the Spirit's like, hey, great job, Bear. You're going to Wyoming next. Am I going to like that? No, I'm not going to like that. I got sheep and cows and chickens and turkeys and livestock guardian dogs and 4 kids, and we just built a new house and businesses and ministries and an assembly. But if the creator of the universe says, go to Wyoming, I got 2 choices. I can be obedient or I can be disobedient. And delayed obedience is disobedience. So, Jonah and Nineveh, you're familiar with that story? Yeah. You're going to Nineveh. One way or another, you're going to Nineveh. Go, man. So if Yah says, great, if right now, if he's saying come to the Ozarks, you come to the Ozarks. Because he could say next time, cool, now go over there. All right. Does that make sense? Yep. That's kind of how I square that. So that's my response to your question.
Ezra, she took sister to the bathroom. She's over there.
So, Midwestern Preparedness Festival 2025. Midwestern Preparedness Project.com, I believe, Midwest Preparedness Project. You Google FOO. Just use Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever you're into. Brave. Midwest Preparedness Project. Really family friendly, really family oriented event out here. It's the only prepper fest I've been to that thus far that has had this much emphasis on wives and children and events and classes, and it's really cool to see. It's not just guns and ammo. There's guns and ammo. It's not just tactical cool guy stuff. It's all encompassing. So
I'll take
that's my thoughts. Ben, call me, bro. Appreciate you. Shalom.
Shalom.